Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Wrestle Addict Radio Network.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
What is going on, everybody?
What up, fam?
Hey, it's me.
What up, Oozes?
What's up, guys? This is the Monday Night Delight.
Are you looking for a network that brings you all things pro wrestling? Then look no further. Wrestle Addict Radio brings you a varied source of wrestling content.
What's going on, guys? This is Willie T.
My name's Mr. Fretz.
This is your resident Smart Slayer.
Search for Wrestle Addict Radio on all major podcast platforms and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode.
Buzz, guys. My name is Kate Murphy of the Kings of the Ring podcast, and you are listening.
And you're listening. And you're listening.
And you are listening.
And you are listening.
Get ready for a war, because you're listening.
Come join the war each and every week as we fight to keep wrestling real.
What's up, everybody? This is King Ricky Rose, and you are listening to Wrestle Addict Radio.
On the inside, you are innocence personified, and I will drag you down and sell you out. Run away. I am cold like December snow. I have carved out this soul made of stone, and I will drag you down. Embraced by the darkness, I'm losing the light. Encircled by demons I fight. What have I become now that I've betrayed everyone I've ever loved? I pushed them all away, and I have been a slave to the Judas in my mind. Is there something left for me to save in the wreckage of my life?
Ladies and gentlemen, that could indeed be the theme music of the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion Chris Jericho, who will be competing against Adam Hangman Page this Saturday. It is going to be awesome, guys. Welcome to the Game Changer Podcast. We are all out, balls to the walls, having a great time here. I am NateFNGreat, recording here in Chicago, and I am being joined here by the one and only, the favorite Canadian on Twitter as well as in wrestling, other than Bret the Hitman Hart, that being the one and only Mr. Fretz.
Greetings, friends and colleagues and everyone in between. This is the Prime Minister of Wrestle Addict Radio, your resident Canadian at the legendary JF on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, I'm all coffeeed up. I got a beer ready to open here as soon as we get underway, folks.
Oh my
Drink
gosh.
it in, man.
We indeed drinking it in. You got your beer. I got my goblet full of wicked ale, lemon, I will actually say. So there are going to be a couple of moments where we're probably going to be taking a couple of swigs of the alcohol. Man, it's starting to come back to me. But, all right, so let's get right into it and talk about a couple of things that happened throughout the week. The major thing that came out of this week being that Seth Rollins is the number one of the PW Insider Top 500 Wrestlers of the Year. Seth Rollins is at the top of the food chain. Wow, that is definitely one of those things that's going to stroke his ego just a little bit. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like he's on cloud nine right now. He's the Universal Champion. He's putting on some really great matches. He also won half of the Raw Tag Team Champions. Trust me, we're going to get into that. As well as being engaged to the man, Becky Lynch. Congratulations to them on their recent engagement. Just absolutely, he is on a huge roll with everything that is going on. And honestly, it's one of those things where I feel kind of jealous because as much fun as I'm going to have here at StarCast and at All Out. You can't really beat the fact that you're engaged to Becky Lynch, everybody's favorite, favorite resident last kicker, the man. Just Seth Rollins, you are one lucky son gun. Becky Lynch, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like you're going to own him every single chance you get. So it's going to be one of those very interesting. I'm very interested in seeing what the wedding's going to be like. But one of the things that somebody actually commented on, I think it was actually Jeff from Nacho Mama Soap Opera, which, trust me, guys, we'll be plugging Wrestle Addict Radio just a bit. He actually mentioned the fact that WWE actually went on their site and they announced the engagement for Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, which does kind of add a little bit of a sour tone to it, because a lot of times when they do that, it is usually for a storyline deal or something that they can market it off of, quote unquote. It's just one of those things where it definitely does kind of sour the great moment of that. And I do agree with that. I really wish that they would have just, left that be, maybe about, I don't know, maybe give it a little bit of time to let it just kind of sink in a bit. Or just don't even say anything at all. Just have everybody who's on the roster congratulate them. Or have Vince McMahon say on his Twitter, or maybe on a video or something like that. I don't know. But just to put it on WWE.com definitely does kind of taint it just a little bit. That's just my opinion, though. What do you think, Mr. Fretz?
Firstly, congratulations to, excuse me, Deja Spew, coffee's coming here. Congratulations to Seth Rollins for the Pro Wrestling Illustrated 500 #1. And what's also fun is going into that and looking to see who's number 500. And I can't tell you who's been in that spot in the past, but it's kind of fun. It's kind of like, say, your James Ellsworth or your D-Ray 3000 or even like a Shark Boy would be at the number 500 spot.
Hey, Shark Boy earned that spot, okay? Don't give me that.
Give me it. Okay, so first off, yes, give me a shell, yeah, but at the same time, a local business up here on the north end of Sable Beach, it's like a little cafe dessert kind of place. In fact, I might have to go there soon. It just says something about the summer and the weekend and Labor Day, and it just says, shell yeah. And I'm like, okay, I have to get the Shark Boy gif, but nobody's going to get that because I'm like the only wrestling fan in Sable Beach. other than maybe my good brother Shay, who's a big AEW fan. Shout out to Shay Angus. You're probably not listening to this, but if you're going to watch Double or Nothing tomorrow, enjoy it. And also, hey, big ups to them for being engaged, but I hate that they're just bringing in, this is, hey, did you know that they're engaged? Hey, did you know that they're dating? Yes, Michael Cole. And I know it's boss time. You don't have to tell me every fucking week. I just hate how they bring it into the storylines. And Matthew from Cultaholic, damn you for putting the thing in my head about Seth Rollins sounding like Gruntilda. I can't get it past it now. You ruined him. I'm gonna have the place for that now. Shit. Oh man! Just enter the thing here where SpongeBob has that line of soiled it. Just have that just put like right in here. That is basically what they've done with it. But you know what? Let's talk more some positive things. I mean, okay, to be fair, this past Raw was not that good. I mean, there's a reason why I've said, like, hey, don't let this one show of Raw trick you into thinking they're getting better, because there's going to probably be another show where it's not going to be so good. Case in point, this past week on Raw. Honestly, other than, I think, the Kings of the Rings matches that featured Drew McIntyre versus Ricochet, as well as Baron Corbin and The Miz, which, trust me, I'm going to have a lot of things to say about that matchup. Me too.
And okay. So, again, it just proves the point that, hey, just because one show is great doesn't mean that the other ones are going to be, that the Raw is completely fixed. Also, we had a tag team turmoil deal, which honestly is won by the most random pairing of all time. Honestly, Had they gone with a different pairing, that would have been so much better because, hey, there's so much nostalgia goes for it, especially if you're me and Fretz who watched TNA in the early days. Fuck everything. So the other thing that happened here was Sasha Banks. She addressed her whole ordeal. She kind of brought a little bit of the limelight of, you know, where she has been for the last 4 months, where, you know, her mindset is at. One thing I got out of this promo that she did was that she basically had no respect for the tag team titles that she held with Bayley. She basically buried the match that she was in at WrestleMania. She buried the tag team titles, all for the fact that she was not in the main event of WrestleMania, but Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey were. Honestly, it is kind of funny that she doesn't put in Charlotte into that situation. But then again, they have their own history. Let's leave that for another time.
Oh, no.
I don't know. It's very interesting. Is that there's some moments where it's like, yeah, she's great as a heel. I kind of like this. But then there's so many other moments where it's like, not really huge on this. Don't exactly like this. I mean, the whole deal with her saying that, you know, Jim is in hell and just
delete.
The late great Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and then just having her bury like the tag team deal. It's just it's frustrating because it kind of goes into the whole deal with what Brian Zane did on a video on about a week or so ago, where he talked about good heat as well versus go away heat. I feel like we're going to get to the point where Sasha Banks is going to have go away heat, even though she just came back.
Yeah, I forget which rabbit trail I was going to go on here for a second. I'm going to need this is the whole. She's not the boss. She's just like bland heel right now, and it's kind of killing me because I'm just like, you know, you have so much potential. You were so much better than this in NXT. Like, why are you stooping to this? I mean, she's going to come out. Where are they next week? Let's just say they're in Chicago. Then it's like, oh, hey, yeah, the Cubs suck. Why did it take them 130 years to win the World Series? Because they suck. Oh, you're going to go to sports team heat. You're going to go to Dean Ambrose heat. What are we going to see? Sasha Banks getting a shot in the ass? I just give everyone that mental picture. You're welcome, King Ricky.
That's right. That's his boo. That's his boo.
That's his secret boo. The secret's out. And if anyone must know, my secret boo is one half of the women's tag team champions being Nikki Cross. Well, I'm scatterbrained today, Nate. I think I need to open this beer in a second, but I have to wait for a special occasion here. So,
no, I definitely do get what you're saying. Honestly, I don't think I have a secret boo. I think everybody just knows by now. I've already said this millions of times.
It's SoCal Val.
I wish it was. No, actually,
it's
God damn it! Would you let me talk? Man,
hold on, I'm done.
Oh my gosh, he's just trying to fluster me now. This is why I have you as my co-host. This is why I love you, man. No, it's Eva Lise. I'm sorry. She's one of those women that, even though she could be as, you know, shy in person and just a complete badass in the ring, she's just one of those women that, you know, just intrigues me the most and just it's kind of like a hook, line, sinker deal. And plus, you know, whether she's a brunette, whether she's a redhead, I love both ways. It's totally awesome. So Evie is definitely my boo when it comes down to it. Anyway, we're moving on from that. Let's talk about the Kings of the Rings matches here. We're going to build up into the one that we know we're going to rant about. Let's talk about the ones from SmackDown first. Chad Gable defeated Shelton Benjamin in what was a pretty good matchup. I think I was expecting a bit more, but at the same time it was like, you know, it's fine. It's not one of those things where I'm just going to be like, oh, this is stupid, this is the worst. No, I mean, there were worse matches, i.e. Kevin Owens versus Elias. That was stupid. But it was still a servable matchup. Definitely, I think, oh God, this is a tie between the two of these this week. Ali versus Murphy and Drew versus Ricochet were both very good matches this week. I might give the edge to Ali and Buddy Murphy just because of that DDT that Ali hit on Buddy Murphy to close out the matchup. Then followed up with his signature 450. Why can't we have the 054? Because that move was amazing. I want that to come back. Thank you very much.
It will.
Ali, he picked up the victory against Murphy. He advances. I'm okay with this. We also had Ricochet picking up an upset victory over Drew McIntyre, which legit shocked me. I was saying, I really want Drew to win, but at the same time, it's Ricochet. I kind of want a King Ricochet. Let's actually transition that from the independent scene into the main roster. I kind of want that now. And honestly, can you pick a better matchup than King Ricochet versus Seth Rollins for the Universal title? I'm waiting. You're welcome. Both were really good matches. I really absolutely loved it. And I don't think that, Buddy Murphy and Drew McIntyre were buried in these matches. They definitely did their job. They put on really good matches, and they still look strong. They look absolutely amazing. Although for Buddy Murphy's case, he had a win over Daniel Bryan, which definitely helps his, deal up quite a bit. Drew McIntyre, he hasn't really been seen as much since, I want to say it's been a while since it's happened. But, having him kind of lose this one time to Ricochet, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to complain about it. I think that there's going to be something bigger for Drew McIntyre. You just have to build him the right way. Now let's talk about the other matchup. Oh my sainted mother. Was this something that just PO'd me to a T? I'll explain why. So, we had The Miz versus Baron Corbin. I was fine with the idea of having The Miz as King. I would have loved that. King awesome. That's a hashtag that should still happen. I know my co-host. I know that my co-host is not the biggest Miz fan, but he's still, I think, is one of those people that would at least tolerate the fact that Miz would have advanced here. That's not what happened. So let's talk about the last few minutes of this matchup. Okay, end of days, 1-2, kick out. Okay, that's understandable. Miz hits the skull crushing finale. Wow, Baron Corbin's out. Bye-bye. 1-2, kick out. What? That was Miz's finisher, and you just... What? A little bit later on down the line, Miz goes for, I think it was a double axe handle or something like that, or he charges at him, bounces up the ropes, Baron Corbin, end of days. Okay, well, maybe Miz will kick out of this. 1, 2, 3. Are you kidding me? So, skull-crushing finale, Miz's finisher, you are watering that move down. It just... that frustrated me. Then we had Baron Corbin cut out a little promo about how he's going to be the king, how he's going to be King Corbin, all hail King Corbin, and blah, 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 doing a heel spiel. Okay, I get that. He definitely has been one of those guys that has been one of the best heels in WWE today. I will fight people on that because he ended Kurt Angle's career, quote unquote. He had some matches with Seth Rollins, which some are forgettable and others are actually pretty enjoyable. He had the weird deal with Lacey Evans, okay. Then he goes on to this King of the Ring deal, he beats The Miz. Okay. And, if we would have ended like that, that would have been fine. But if you added that little detail of, he kicked out the skull-crushing finale, people are pissed, including me. Are you trying to make The Miz look weak? Just why? Makes no sense to me for this. It's frustrating. That was the one thing I hated about that final sequence. If Miz had, hit the skull-crushing finale and maybe Corbin has foot on the rope, that would have been fine. That's what they kind of did with Bayley and Lacey Evans this week. Bayley got the Bayley to belly. 1, 2, Lacey grabs the bottom rope. Okay, they're making the move look strong. That's fine. Baron Corbin, he kicks out of it. So that finisher is shit. Great. Just bury the Miz more. How about this? Let's just have Miz just be on his own TV series and never work in WWE again. I think that people would accept that. Because then people would watch that. They'd want to know what he's doing with his wife, with his nice baby girl. And hey, they got another kid on the way, according to the season finale of that. Which obviously I think... Actually, I don't know. No, this was happened in February. So... Oh, geez.
She's ready to pop, man. Soon.
Wow. So we're getting pretty close to it. Fingers crossed. We're getting close to it. Also, I'm kind of hoping for a Miz boy. As much as we love him in Monroe is so adorable. Hoping for a Miz boy, because I feel like Maurice can only handle so much of the pregnancies. Because they ended the season with Miz basically saying, "Oh, we're gonna keep trying until we get a boy. You get a boy, we're done. We get a girl, we're gonna try again. Another girl, try again. Another girl, try again." I'm like, Miz, I respect your seed.
He's King Henry VIII. He is.
I will say this: if this keeps going on for a while, I will say this, that the genetic jackhammer is going to the Miz. Vince, you have nothing on the Miz. Just saying that right now. But anyway, I think I got my rant done with the whole deal with Miz and Corbin. But I know, Mr. Fretz, you're kind of chomping at the bits. You have something to say about this matchup. By all means.
And new King of the Ring, Baron Corbin, calling it now that Drew is out. I said if Drew is out, my pick is Baron Corbin. It's Baron Corbin, and I kind of want to see it. I don't like him that much myself. I'm not as much of a hater as the rest of the internet. I think Baron Corbin he's a great heel. He's like what The Miz should be. The Miz is a great heel. The Miz, I hate him because he's a bad babyface. I liked him as a heel, but I loved booing him because he was always ragging on Daniel Bryan, who is one of my all-time favorites. Even still, he's been the new Daniel Bryan for a year. I think you can new shit ain't a year old now. I mean, yeah, just what I said about before, but this is his list of accomplishments. He is a Golden Glove winner. He is a former United States champion. He is a former Money in the Bank loser. He is Chicago's favorite son and your king. Just imagine the heat. I mean, it'll piss off the internet for sure, but at the same time, I think that Baron Corbin is one of those guys that has good heat and not like X-Pac heat, as they used to say back in the day, or who else? He who shall not be named, and who was named in a rumor that we're not even going to dig into, folks. So use your imagination. I think you know what we're talking about. Delete, edit that out, and it's in. But everybody knows my boy's Elias. I want Elias to win, but Kevin Owens is going to screw him in the next round. It's happening. And then maybe we'll get, a good KO Elias match, because until that screw job on SmackDown, they were doing pretty good. I mean, Elias pulled off a tilt-a-whirl powerbomb. I mean, the guy can go if you give him a chance. I mean, but instead he's sitting there strumming a guitar and giving out about each town. And just don't pull a Saudi tournament and get Shane in the finals. Although it would kind of be hilarious at the same time, but it would piss me off something fierce. But the rest of these matches, I mean, Benjamin and Gable, they weren't given much time. Like, as I said, they're both amateur gods, and they have. If they're given more time, I think they can get a good shout. I loved all these green attires. It just reminded me of Xbox 360, and I'm like, he better not rent Ring out there, man. That's just going to be a shit show if that happens.
Wasn't there like one other person this week that had kind of like that kind of Xbox feel like attire? Because I know Mustafa Ali was one of them, but there was one other person this week that kind of had that same feel. I forgot who it was. If it was, oh gosh. Actually, I would have to go up on my Twitter and do it, but I'm not going to do that because I like the show. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know now. I honestly do not even know who it was, but I remember basically having that same thought. Maybe it was. For all we know, it probably was. Either way. But let's go into talking about a bit of the tag team turmoil deal, and then we'll talk about a couple things on SmackDown before going into break. We got new number one contenders in Bobby Roode. Hey, cool. Who's his tag team partner? Dolph Ziggler. What? So you denied us of a Team Canada deal, and you had them paired up in a match on Main Event we had nostalgia for a possible Team Canada reunion, and you decided to go with Bobby Roode and Ziggler? It's Robert Roode. I don't care. I really do not care. It's one of those situations where I will call him Bobby Roode until the day I die. I don't care what anybody says. And even the start of the matchup, I was pissed off right then and there. It was like, I don't care who wins this. It's stupid. Unless it was the Revival, which obviously that didn't happen because I had a great booking deal. Fantasy booking. Have Revival win the Tag Team Turmoil deal. They're double booked. Yeah, exactly. They win the Raw Tag Team titles. They unify them with the SmackDown Tag Team titles. They're the greatest tag team of freaking all time. Fight me on that. Revival to the end. Even if you put the FTR there. I'm sorry, but just, you had the potential. You had that one glimmer of hope of like, yes, we're combining the tag team divisions together. This is fine. This is great. You didn't do it. You didn't pull the trigger. You went in the other direction. You missed like a mile. You basically had it in your sight. Then you went a full 180. Boom. Oh, you shot the guy who owns the place. Great. That's my analogy for this stupid tag team turmoil deal. And it started off stupid because they had the Viking Raiders, War Raiders, and the Club get counted out. You could have had that at the end. Then they could have had a triple threat. Another fantasy booking deal. Right there. Boom. Stupid. Stupid. Stupid.
Thanks, Randy.
You're welcome.
It's funny. I was doing my review of SummerSlam 99 on the 20 Bell Salute on the Wrestle Addict Radio Patreon, cheap plug, and I came across the Tag Team Turmoil match. I'm going to give you the list of teams that were in that match. Actually, I can probably do it off by heart. My notepad's at my feet, and my chair creaks, and it gets on the show.
You said this was in 99?
Edge and Christian and the Hardys, the Acolytes, Dross and Albert, Midian and Viscera, and there's another team I'm forgetting. It'll probably come to me like in about 6 hours when I'm doing some shit at the store.
Just message me and be like,
Holly's.
Oh, okay.
Crash. Done. And it was fun. And it also had a number one contendership on the line. Unfortunately, that number one contendership was against Taker and Big Show.
Yeah.
I love both those guys, but no, the Unholy Alliance. Oh, we're gonna wear my snakeskin boots. No, Taker. No. I was riding across Death Valley in my chopper. No, go away, Ministry Taker. Next month I'll be getting into. Oh wait, no, he'll be gone. I'll be getting into Kennel from Hell. My God!
I knew exactly where you're going. Kennel from Hell. Oh no.
1999.
Oh, Fretz.
1999 sucks, bro.
Oh, Fretz,
man, why did I agree to do that shit?
Why must you punish yourself with that? Oh, speaking of punishment, we got punished with a realization that, oh my God, it was Eric Rowan the whole entire time. Or was it? Because they ended SmackDown in the weirdest way, where Brian and Rowan are like, oh, we deserve an apology, and blah, blah, blah. And then Roman's like, okay, I'll apologize after you look at this footage. It's one of those situations where it's like, you couldn't have put this footage up sooner. And then we see, somebody who looks like Rowan. No, it actually is Rowan. We don't have much proof about that because he's in a hoodie.
One of the Highlanders.
Oh my gosh, if that was the case, if this is the way the Highlanders comes back, that would be amazing. That's just me, though. But yeah, Brian basically smacks around Rowan, saying, I hate liars. He grabs a microphone, like, I hate liars, goes to the ring, gets speared. We still have a weird deal where it's like, okay, this is weird. And I put it best. I said it on my Twitter. I said, all I can say about this segment, I miss Luke Harper. That's all I had to say about this. That's literally all I have to say about the segment.
Luke Harper to AEW confirmed.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, he's working for AEW and his way out is to try and cripple Roman Reigns. Oh my God, fantasy booking, yes. Oh my God, that'd be a great way to leave WWE. It's like, I'm going to cripple your top guy and I'm going to go to WWE. I'm going to their company. Oh my gosh, it's like what they could have done with Bret Hart, but they didn't.
Or how Jeff Hardy left in 2009, except he crippled himself against CM Punk.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that. Oh, Hardy. Jeff did. Which time? Which time?
2009 Straight Edge Society WCW title Slam.
Damn it. All right, so guys, we're going to take a little quick commercial break, and then when we come back, there's a reason why there's a laughing guy right behind me. You're going to find out in just a bit. But when we come back, we're going to talk about one more game-changing deal that could have been, but unfortunately they effed it up. Them being WWE Creative. You know what I mean. So, guys, stay tuned. We will be right back.
What's going on, everybody? This is Will Tarashuk, the founder of the Kings of the Rings podcast, and you are listening to Wrestle Addict Radio.
Hi, I'm NateFNGreat. You know what's really fun, you guys, is just spending some time creating wrestling moments, whether it's being in the crowd, cutting promos, or just really kind of beating each other up with a chair or a trash can. Well, let's just say that there's a safer way to doing that without using the actual chair or a trash can. Go over to Great Minds Revolution Incorporated. My buddy Kurt has actually created a very safe and fun way to be a wrestling fan without the necessary lawsuits of basically beating each other up with real stuff. He has an inflatable chair that is really fun to just whack around, and it could also double as a little floaty for a pool. He also has the inflatable trash can, which, you guys, is really awesome because let's say maybe you don't want to use it for wrestling matches. You could use it at your barbecue, your next big tailgate party, whatever you could think of. Great Minds Revolution, Inc. They do a great job on making wrestling fun again. Proud friends of the Game Changer Podcast.
Hey everyone, it's the Princess of Pro Wrestling, SoCal Val. You are listening to the Game Changer Podcast. Sending lots of love from California. Mwah.
You think that it would piss off people if I challenged Baron Corbin for his theme music?
Oh, dude, that's some good theme music. Although I liked his NXT theme if he actually came out in a chopper. Is he the new member of TOA? What's going on here?
Welcome back to the Game Changer Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I'm NateFNGreat. He's Mr. Fretz. We got to do some shout-outs to our good friends over at Wrestle Addict Radio. Of course, you got to follow them on Twitter at addict_wrestle. Of course, be sure to follow the guys over at Kings of the Rings Podcast, Nacho Mama Soap Opera Podcast, the Gift of Podcast, Fourth Wall WrestleCast, and of course here at the Game Changer Podcast. Not the wrestling podcast. We don't just talk wrestling, because you have to remember that we're in a new millennium where everything changes. I got more variety than that. I'm taking shots at a certain somebody, but we're not going to mention that until probably another month. Anyway, people probably know who I'm talking about. We're here to talk also, guys, we're finishing up this deal that we've been doing for the last month. We've been talking about some game-changing moments that have happened, but were royally effed up. And I do say royally because they screwed them up in the worst way. We talked about the Summer of Punk, the Nexus, we talked about the Rusev deal, we talked about any single one of the third-generation superstars or second-generation people who have definitely been royally screwed. Now we're going to talk about another superstar to kind of cap this off. The person we're talking about is probably somebody you probably would expect, but at the same time, would disagree with. Person who's a game changer that they royally screwed, Roman Reigns. Now hold on, before you guys go on your high horse and say, Roman Reigns is not a game changer, Roman Reigns is not this, Roman Reigns is... First of all, he was. And let me explain. So let's go just kind of give us a little bit of a far backstory here. Roman Reigns debuted with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins at Survivor Series 2012. Now, for the next about year and a half, almost 2 years, I would say, the three of them ran Gunshot on WWE. They captured the tag team titles, the U.S. title. Dean Ambrose had the longest reign as the United States champion, still hard to beat, honestly. And then they had one of the most emotionally scarring moments in wrestling history when they broke up. Seth Rollins had the knife. He looked like he was going to help out his brothers. Boom. Bashes Roman. Bashes Dean. They all kind of go their separate ways. And this was kind of something they wanted to do because they thought Roman would be a big star. And the reaction that he got during the 2014 Royal Rumble kind of proved that, because they didn't want Batista to win. They kind of wanted Roman to win. Now, the year after, 2015, Roman won. Nobody wanted that. Why? Because he was booked horribly. I mean, you looked at everything that he was doing, and he also was out with he was out with like an injury, or he had some kind of wellness. Thank you. He had to take time away to basically, take care of himself, and then he would recuperate for the Royal Rumble. Problem was, people were seeing the second coming of Daniel Bryan, and they wanted him to win. But of course, thanks to our good old buddy Bray Wyatt, we're really glad that you're our friend. Sorry, I had to do that. He basically eliminated Daniel Bryan for the matchup. Roman Reigns ended up winning with the help with The Rock. Then he went on to have a match with Brock, which honestly a lot of people were not expecting to be as good as it was. And it was. It was amazing. We also got Suplex City, bitch. Then Seth Rollins would go on to cash in. Roman would kind of be in that weird obscurity kind of deal. He would kind of face off. He would get very close to winning the title. And then he wouldn't win the title until Seth Rollins got injured. Then they had the tournament at Survivor Series where he defeated Dean Ambrose. Then Sheamus cashed in. He would defeat Sheamus about a month later. Then he would lose at the Royal Rumble, do a Triple H deal. Then he would win it again at WrestleMania 32, which by far a lot of people have said is one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. And honestly, kind of hard to disagree with that. But I know we can save that in just a bit. But honestly, guys, it's because of the fact that he was so poorly booked and so poorly written that so many people have gone on to hate him. I mean, you look at his track record, he still is one of those guys that has an incredible, resume. He main evented WrestleMania 31, 32, 33, as well as 34. 4 WrestleManias. I think that's the record right now. How many people can say that they've main evented 4 WrestleManias in a row? Not consecutively. Not sporadic, but consecutively 4 WrestleManias in a row. How many people can say that? Very few. Roman Reigns has that record of 4. Okay, maybe there's one. Nope. I can't even say that. I was going to say Hulk Hogan, but I thought to myself, no.
3. He did 1, 2, and 3. Then 5, 6, 7. Technically, him and Sid main evented 8, but Hogan and Sid wasn't a main event match.
Yeah.
I love Sid. Come on.
Yeah, so we'll not count that one. Just from everything from the weird, writing of the scripts to the whole, oh God, can everybody say suffering succotash was one of the worst things of all time? Which, honestly, it's funny because you look back even further, Christian said that to Jack Swagger, but it worked for him because Jack Swagger had that lift going on. So it worked for him. But in this case, it was just one of those things where it's like, oh, he's trying to be PG. Ooh, that's rough. I will say this, that I did get a chance to go back and watch the promo that happened between Roman Reigns and John Cena, the contract signing one, where we had, Cena, he's basically just delivering all of these shots, one after the other, after the other, after the other. Roman Reigns, he's dishing out like little light softball deals to start off with, but Cena's, comment that kind of really was a zinger, and one of those few times where it's like, okay, I remember why I was a John Cena fan, was the line where he's like, it's called a promo, kid, you're going to have to learn to cut one sooner or later. That lit Roman Reigns up, and I think that's what Cena wanted. He wanted Roman Reigns to be lit up and be passionate about it. So, it's gotten better since then. But honestly, again, it does boil down to the fact that, hey, you kind of are restricting Roman Reigns to do a certain thing. I mean, WrestleMania 34 is the perfect example of that. We could have seen Roman Reigns doing a lot of great moves. He could have been flying over the top rope and attacking Lesnar. Maybe we could have seen him doing like a powerbomb to Lesnar. Doing these great things that we know he could do. If you think I'm lying, check out his matches with AJ at Payback as well as Extreme Rules, back to back. They killed it. Niagara drivers, oh my God, yes. Just amazing. And they condensed it. Why? Because they wanted to recreate the magic from 31. Don't do that. Don't. Just make it something special. Bring up a little something different to it. Oh, we had Roman Reigns bleed. Yeah, that worked out nicely. Well, he kicked out of like 6 F5s. Yeah, you built up that move just so he can kick out 6 times. Just great. Just great. Couldn't you have done the whole deal where maybe he put his foot on the rope or maybe something else like that? Maybe something different? Don't spam that move like it's... Oh, God, that was one of the worst WrestleMania main events of all time. I would dare say worst. I would dare say worst WrestleMania main events of all time. But I'll have to look that up because there's still a couple that might still have that, you know, that privilege. Or
there's definitely worse.
Yeah, I mean, Sid and Hogan. Sorry. You know, it goes full circle. Take a drink. Yep, full circle. Take a drink.
Oh, I haven't opened mine yet.
Damn it. But, okay, so I want to actually go back to talking about Roman Reigns, specifically the build-up to WrestleMania 32. I did talk about this in an earlier podcast, and I want to bring this back up. So, here's the fantasy booking I would have for this. Since we can't avoid the whole Seth Rollins getting injured deal, still keep the tournament. Don't have Roman win at Survivor Series. Have Dean win. Have Sheamus cash in on Dean because he's kind of the fanboy. He's kind of the guy that everybody seems to really love. Have the Authority screw Dean Ambrose out of it. Then slowly get Roman Reigns into the title picture. Have him definitely win the title in Philadelphia. That moment, definitely I would keep. Definitely have Roman Reigns win it in Philadelphia. Have him hold the title all the way to WrestleMania. Which means, wait, are you going to have Roman survive the Rumble? Yeah, I am actually. Going to have him win it at number 1. He's the first man to enter in as the champion. First to leave with the championship. Triple H, he's pissed off. He beats down on Roman Reigns. He beats him up so bad that we don't see Roman Reigns for an entire month, all the way to Fastlane. And we see a tag team match between Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Triple H, Brock Lesnar. If Brock Lesnar or Triple H score the fall, they get it to the title shot at WrestleMania. If Dean Ambrose wins, he gets the shot at WrestleMania. So there's a little bit of a deal here where it's like, maybe we're going to get Dean Ambrose and Roman again. Maybe we'll get Brock, and you kind of tease this fact that, Roman's still going to be the champ, but it's with a very unique twist here. So Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar, they kind of take each other out of the equation. They fight to the back. Triple H takes advantage of Roman's injuries. Pedigree, 1, 2, 3. Triple H is going to WrestleMania. Then at WrestleMania, hey guys, let's actually promote it as a no-holds-barred matchup. How about that? Let's make it personal. Because from Roman Reigns beating the crap out of Triple H at TLC, Roman Reigns getting the crap beat out of him by Triple H at Royal Rumble, it makes sense. Common sense in wrestling? You don't say. So we have Roman Reigns, Triple H at WrestleMania, no holds barred. Roman Reigns decimates Triple H. We see him literally just almost kill him to the point of him just bashing with the chair, kendo sticks, anything you can imagine. Do you want to throw the Stephanie Spear in there? Sure. For a little nostalgic deal so that people can shut up and stop whining, we'll throw that in there. Just have maybe a deal where Roman's about to go for the Spear stuff and he's trying to be like, stop, he's had enough, like that. And then Stephanie decides to try to do a low blow or a slap to the face. Roman's just thinking, all right, you want to do that? Fine. Spear. Spear Stephanie. She gets her comeuppance for that deal. Triple H maybe tries to get some kind of comeback offense in there. Highly doubt it. We see Roman Reigns pick up the victory. 1, 2, 3. He retains. We still keep the AJ deal. Have stuff like that. So the fact that you don't have him built as an idiot, you built him strong, it works. And so many people will be like, well, then that just means that Roman Reigns is going to be champion for a while. Yeah, that's the point. Would you rather have him have this title run? Or would you rather face him doing the whole deal where it's like, hey, he's going to have the torch passed him. Nope, we're taking it back. Here's the torch again. Nope, we're taking it away. Nope, here's finally the torch to you here at WrestleMania. I'd much rather have Roman Reigns do a prolonged deal, build him up, and then when he loses it to Seth Rollins, which honestly I think is the best way to do it, regardless of the whole, health deal, have that happen. So there are moments where you can do it, but the problem is, again, don't have him say stupid stuff like suffering succotash. Don't have him, pander to people. Don't have him be like the next John Cena. Like his promo said, he would much rather be the one and only Roman Reigns. Make him the one and only Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I don't have a lot, for fantasy booking for Roman, but one thing that kind of set me over the edge for him, like I used to be one of those internet haters too, along with John Cena, and it's been only in the past couple of years or a year and a half that I came around. Actually, if you listen to me on the KOTR podcast last year, I think it was right after after Backlash. I think that was the show that the Dusty one had my Mr. Fretz sign up. Awesome. And I said that I didn't watch the Roman Reigns match because I wanted to have a shower and scrub every memory of me ever liking him. I've come to regret those words. Because well, I respect him. I like him a lot. But one thing, back in the day, we briefly mentioned it here. One thing that kind of I lost him on was his wellness policy violation. He missed out on, I think, SummerSlam, and then he was just on TV. He has a little cameo. He has a little thing. Everyone starts booing him, and then when he's back from his wellness policy violation, he's thrust right back into the title picture. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nate, but don't wellness policy violators usually get what's that term that we were bouncing back and forth this week? Buried?
Usually they do. I was going to say the phrase punished, because usually
that's what I meant too, but I think we have an inside joke with the whole burial thing here, based on a conversation.
Mr. Triple H, instead of his, I got new nails on the shelf, gotta put up the shelf because I'm a dad. I'm sorry, that's an Adam Blampier joke. I don't know how many people are going to get that, but it's still one of those things that cracks me up to this day. It goes from his hammer to his shovel. But, no, I definitely do agree with that. It's one of those things where it's really weird, because you look at somebody like, we'll mention him right here, Baron Corbin. This guy went on social media, he shot his mouth off. I think he was at a Marine, or he was an Army trooper or something like that, if I remember correctly. Shot his mouth off of that, and what happened to him? He instantly was buried. He lost his Money in the Bank contract. He got squashed by Cena at SummerSlam, and it wasn't until he won the U.S. title, I think about a month or two later, that we're starting to see Baron Corbin getting back on the right track. So it is one of those situations where it's like, I mean, this guy, they shouldn't just have thrust him right back into it. They should have had somebody else take that spot, which could have happened. They could have had a deal where it's like a battle royal, maybe to find out who takes, Roman's spot in the triple threat match. But at the same time, if you remember that Battleground matchup, he did actually take the pin by Dean Ambrose. So it's kind of one of those things like, okay, that's a good start. But then after that, he went into that deal with Rusev, where he defeated him for the U.S. title about 2 months later. So it's just one of those things where it's like, you could have had that situation where, I get it, he's supposed to be your top guy, but you can't just have him be that guy all the time. You can't do that. You can't have special exceptions. You have to be cool about it. You can't just, God, it's frustrating. It is very frustrating to feel that there is still favoritism in this damn world. I'm going back to my Triple H song.
Yeah, and I'll agree with just about everything you said about fantasy booking him, because I didn't get the chance to really think about it. But I think it would be, say, when he doesn't win the title with the whole Sheamus deal. And actually, if it were possible, and Seth Rollins wasn't injured at this time, after that, was it Rumble 16 where the title was on the line and Triple H won?
Yeah.
Well, that's where Ambrose was like the second to last person in that match. So I'd have Ambrose winning an upset, and then there was wasn't there like the first roadblock in Toronto that had
you mean cockblock?
cockblock, whatever that show was. I'd have another title match there. Triple H isn't involved. He's not there. No. You know how I feel about Triple H. If you listened last week, and I exploded. This is where I'd have the Shield triple threat, but at Mania, not on some random B show. If it were possible and injuries didn't play a factor, like how I rebooked if Owen Hart didn't die. And in a parallel universe, that's where I would have had, spoiler alert for a future misbooking opportunity on my show, that's who I would have had run over Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I mean, legit, again, that would just be amazing. I'm not condoning manslaughter or attempted murder, stuff like that. I'm saying that would just be great, because I think we've actually talked about this, that it makes sense, because it's one of those things where, Owen Hart's career never really kind of took off. It kind of was a stepping stone for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Maybe have Owen Hart say, like, you have to remember the fact that even though I was a quote-unquote stepping stone, I'm the guy that broke your neck. And I'm the guy that almost ran you over. So you should know the kind of person I am. And that is, I'm not going to stop until I get what I deserve. And that is indeed the WWF title back in the day.
Go into my archives and listen to that, by the way, folks. It's actually one of my proudest achievements. It was like on the 20th anniversary of Owen Hart's passing. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do the best of, and I'm going to do fantasy booking. And then I talked it over with good brother Ant. Shout out, by the way, nice shirt.
Woo!
Yeah,
the brand,
I've been
baby.
shooting the shit with him all week, and I just went to him. I'm like, okay, you're the Owen Hart, the fellow Owen Hart fan here. Is this cool? Is this like appropriate? And he's like, yeah, man, this is awesome. Do it. So I went along and did it. But
nice.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that. And back to the Roman train here. I think if we had the Shield triple threat at WrestleMania, like, just imagine the stories you can bring into that. This was, yeah, it would have been well after the breakup. So you bring that into the equation. You bring just the whole story, and I think it just would have been wrapped up in a nice little bow. And then, a couple of years later, when you have a Shield reunion, you get another story wrapped up in there too. And the less that Brock Lesnar is involved in this, the better. Maybe he does win the title off of someone at, say, one of the Brooklyn shows, but he doesn't hold on to it for 75 and a half months.
There we go. Maybe. There's a lot of possibilities, but yeah, honestly, guys, we've definitely talked a lot about misbooking opportunities. We've talked a lot about the stuff that's been going on that could have happened, that should have happened. Shoulda, woulda, coulda is what my other podcast is known for. So we're going to take one final quick commercial break, and then we come back. We're going to do a quick rundown and predictions on this Saturday's AEW All Out show that's happening. Yes, I know that as we're recording this, we're doing this on a Thursday. This will be released on Sunday. You know something, guys? You're going for a treat, because if you are a fan of the Game Changer podcast, you will get a AEW All Out reaction as well as result deal the day of that this podcast is released. So definitely check out the Game Changer podcast Facebook page as well as on Wrestle Addict Radio, because that will be up immediately after this episode is up. So we're going to do a quick little all-out prediction deal. Then after that, we will be closing out. So guys, stay tuned. We will be right back.
Buzz, guys. My name is Kate Murphy of the Kings of the Ring podcast, and you are listening to Wrestle Addict Radio.
Hey guys, this is NateFNGreat. Hey, have you ever wanted to be a champion but can't seem to really find the money and the time to get a championship belt? Well, you know who's a really good friend of mine? AJ from AJsBelts.com. These guys have a large assortment of championship belts, from classic belts to the modern day belts to championship belts that you would not even believe. And guys, like I said, they work with you very well. With an awesome layaway program, there is no way that you can beat these guys' prices as well as these guys' deals, especially when you can give them a little bit of money every now and then until you can get that championship gold. Coming from a guy who's a champion and a game changer, I'm indeed NateFNGreat. I'm representing AJsBelts.com, proud friends of the Game Changer Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Coda Jacobs, the Crusader and visionary behind a brighter future in wrestling. If you're an honorable and noble public servant like myself, you are listening to the Game Changer Podcast.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Game Changer Podcast. I am NateFNGreat, being joined here by the one and only Mr. Fretz. And I don't know, are we allowed to mention the fact that we do have a special guest here as well here?
Yeah, where have you been this whole fucking show, dude?
Well, I have a lot of appearances I have to keep up. You know, I kind of got famous ever since I parted ways with the Kings of the Rings podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know that voice, you definitely need to check out very past Kings of the Rings podcast deal. He is indeed the one and only man of infinite gimmicks, as I like to call him, one and only Dusty Dave.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Like Jesus, after longer than 3 days, I have risen from the dead.
Feels like 3 years since you've ever
been. It absolutely does. I don't even remember how to podcast anymore. But, no, I graduated. I turned 30. I went to Europe and becoming more bionic. But, yeah, it's great to be back with my belt, bro. Yep. Thank you for coming with me to start casting All Out.
Yeah. It's going to be absolutely awesome, guys. Honestly, now I'm going to have to start calling him Terminator Dusty Dave. Terminator Dave.
Or
Bionic Dave, are you like me? Do you have metal in your body now?
Not yet, but I have a feeling it's coming soon.
It's getting towards that. So we have Mr. Dave here because we are going to be doing our predictions for the All Out event. Like I said, it's happening this Saturday. It's in Chicago. We're in Chicago. Let's just go right into it. Let's first start off with the pre-show, guys. The 21-woman Casino Battle Royal. Winner will receive a match for the inaugural AEW Women's Championship scheduled on October 2nd, AEW on TNT broadcast. It literally says that on Wikipedia, and I kind of love it. It's kind of funny. So we don't exactly have the full disclosure of who is all going to be involved in that, but we do have some names on here that I think are
like 11 or 12.
There's still about 11 people that have still not been named on here, so we could just throw a name out there, and if they win, hey, you get a point for that, I guess. But as far as who's been announced so far, we have Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, Allie, Brandy Rose, Teal Piper, Ivelisse, Jazz, Big Swole, Sadie Gibbs, and Awesome Kong. Oh my Lord! I just seen Awesome Kong in here. I'm like, there's gonna be a lot of people going over the road.
Also announced earlier today is Shazza McKenzie.
Really?
And I have a gut feeling we're gonna be seeing Bea Priestley involved.
Oh.
But
by all means, Dusty Dave, start off. What do you got for this one?
Like, after All In, mind you, All In was its independent pay-per-view to show that they could do it. But you had Madison Rayne, Chelsea Green, Tessa Blanchard, and Britt Baker. They put on a clinic. Then you have Britt Baker, Double or Nothing against Kylie Ray and Nyla Rose. I think Britt Baker is being built up as the female equivalent of Hangman Page. So this screams the Doctor is in all over.
There you go. Mr. Fretz, who have you got for this one?
I got to agree with the Dusty one here. Baker's one is my pick, but a dark horse for me, I mean, it's got to be Awesome Kong, but at the same time, I would love to see Teal Piper just, like, I don't think she'll win, but I would just love her to have, like, a real good showing, because is this technically her debut?
Yes. This is technically her professional wrestling debut.
Really?
Which is interesting. Like, I didn't believe it when I watched the reveal video for her. But then, like, I went back and, yeah, Roddy did not want her to join the industry. I'm not sure if that's because of the way women were portrayed or the physical toll on the body, but her brother, Roddy's son, is also wrestling on the independents. So, you know, paying homage to Rowdy's legacy, I'm almost most excited to see what she can do, because you don't just have your debut match with the last name Piper unless you got something like an ace in the hole, so to speak.
Very true, very true. I'm going to be the one that goes. I'm going wild with this one. I'm picking my girl. I'm going to be wearing her shirt when this happens. I'm going with my girl, Evilise. Going with my boo. I think she's going to pull an upset here. Honestly, it's hard for me to choose against her. I know Britt Baker's going to win, but it's like there's that small part of me that's like, I want Evilise to win.
I do like that because, mind you, Lucha Underground is currently, like, up in the air.
Yes.
So she's just been doing a bunch of independents. I could potentially see Evilise being, I don't mean future, I mean, like, near future, this weekend or immediately after, the next female signed.
Oh, man, please. AEW, please sign her. Yes.
Who? Why don't we predict at least one surprise name? What do you think?
Okay.
Who's going to be like a big shocker? Like, I'm not talking like Sonny, but I'm talking about someone like maybe.
You want to? I have a surprise.
All right.
ODB.
Ooh.
She's doing a meet and greet with her meat truck, and she's a very talented veteran of the ring. I could see her come in and I could see her have a standoff with Awesome Kong, because they both have the history and they both have the larger statures for females. Mm-hmm. And I could see that. Unfortunately, we're not going to be getting the whole lineup of the Joshis with AEW because they have Japan commitments. So I want to say Aja Kong, Yuki Sakazaki. I think a couple of them are not going to be there, but I'm hoping for ODB, and I can't wait to actually go to her meet and greet truck. She actually has a food truck outside the hotel.
Meat spelled M-E-A-T, not M-E-E-T. Which,
hey, you're talking to a butcher's kid here. I'm all over that.
The other matchup on the pre-show, or honestly, I don't even know if we can even call it a pre-show at this point.
The buy-in, but
I kind of like that. I kind of like the buy-in show. We're calling them buy-in shows when it comes to these shows. Okay, so on the second matchup on the buy-in show is Private Party taking on Angelico and Jack Evans. Why? Why are you killing me with these Lucha Underground boys? Angelico, Jack Evans, my boys. But at the same time, I don't think they're going to pick up their victory here. I'm going with Private Party on this one.
I've seen Private Party a couple times now. I saw them at the NEW show before TakeOver 25, and I saw them at the House of Glory show the week before Moxley was at NEW. Mm-hmm. And that was theirs and the Bucks send-off from the Indies, and there was a Hangman Page thing. They're building a Private Party phenomenally. And the thing is, I love Angelico and Jack Evans. Like, they're literally my boys. But I'm sorry, this is Private Party. Like, they are destined for big things in this division, being that AEW will actually care about tag teams. And I, was listening to your show when you guys were talking about the Raw and SmackDown stuff. These are, like, established teams. They're not, like, thrown together.
Right, exactly.
So, like, this is Private Party all over.
Oh, trust me, we got one more match. Well, actually, a couple more tag team matches that we'll be talking about. But, Mr. Fretz, who have you got for this one?
You know what? Just because you guys picked Private Party, I'm just going to go opposite day and pick up Eddie Alco and Jack Evans. I'm not familiar. I saw Private Party were at one of the Fighter Fest or Fight for the Fallen, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, I'm vaguely familiar with them. Unfortunately, I'm not the indie expert like Brother Indie Dave here, but Jack Evans is someone I saw a lot of in early ROH back when they were on the Fight Network, which we somehow got up here in Canada for some reason. But yeah, Jack Evans is him or Jarrell Clark, they invented the 630 splash.
It's probably either one. Well, it's
either one.
I agree. I think that's interchangeable because, both of them were the people who started to revolutionize the high flying.
Yeah, no, I definitely do agree with that. All right, let's talk about the main card, you guys. We got 8 matches to go through. Let's do this. First up, we have a 6-man tag team matchup. Luchasaurus, oh my God, Mexican Undertaker, Jungle Boy. Jeez. Maybe that's a sign that I shouldn't be calling him that anymore. Marco Stunt taking on SCU. The SoCal Uncensored. I think SoCal Val is still waiting for royalties from them, but that's a different story for a different time. Mr. Fretz, for this 6-man tag team matchup, who have you got?
Oh, man. I have a couple of coins in front of me. Should I just flip a coin like I did before?
Might as well at this point.
I'm just going to go out and say SCU.
I'm in agreement. SCU has been absolutely fantastic, and this is another one of those matches where it's going to showcase. They're going to have a really big challenge with Luchasaurus, I will say that. But I think they'll overcome it, so SCU.
I'm actually going to take I'm going to swag jack Mr. Fretz. I'm going to be taking a boy in his dinosaur with Stunt, a.k.a. the Circle of Life. Now, SCU's established, and obviously this is a big pay-per-view. It's like a year, give or take, removed from Proving Meltzer Wrong, Sears Center for All In. Oh, yeah. And to bring in the viewers, they want to establish newer stars. Now, I had no experience with Luchasaurus other than being part of the Reptile tribe.
That's true.
Jungle Boy is the late Luke Perry's son.
Really?
And I wasn't even aware that, how big it meant to him. And I remember seeing Marco Stunt hop the rail as a plant with Anthony DiStefano at Lost in New York and face KTB. And to see how all 3 of them have improved to now get signed by AEW. And the thing is, SCU can eat this loss, but, you want to showcase these new talents so that new people can be drawn into the product. So I honestly think this is Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt. And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
And that's another hero there. Stole your gimmick. Press A and B and no mercy.
Oh, and Luchasaurus has a master's degree.
That is the crazy
a legit master's degree in medieval history.
Wow.
I know, right? As we go into the next matchup here, that is going to be another women's matchup. I do want to throw this idea for a possible idea for the Casino Battle Royal. I'm going to throw Rosemary's name in there because honestly, might be kind of cool to see little trinkets of Demon Bunny put in there.
I was considering that. I don't know what her status is with Impact, but I mean she does do a lot with Rise, and Rise they even have their own panel.
Yeah,
I could see that. I could theoretically also see Su Yung. And who knows? Imagine if we get Tessa Blanchard and we see a working relationship, Impact and AEW.
That would be really cool.
Paul Meccano.
Oh, don't tease me. Next up, we have Ryo taking on Hikaru Shida, and we just found out that actually in this matchup, the winner of this matchup will be going on to the October 2nd show, and they will be competing for the AEW Women's World Championship. So the winner of the Battle Royal is going to have to be watching this matchup.
Yeah, this is exactly how Jericho versus Omega. This is basically the women's version of Double or Nothing.
This is literally where the seeds are getting planted. I'm loving it. My gosh! Now here comes the hard part. Is like, who do we pick for this? Because you were talking about.
My biggest surprise about this is that it's between two Joshi wrestlers. It's between Riho and Hikaru Shida. Now, Riho, I started getting into from Kenny Omega's recommendation because they used to tag together in a intergender tag team in DDT Pro.
Oh, nice.
Hikaru Shida does allow with a company called Makai, which is fighting, but it's choreographed to live music. So there's a lot of emotion in it, but it's similar to the way that, sports entertainment and pro wrestling is booked. So they're both amazing. Now, I love Hikaru Shida, so I have to go with Hikaru, but literally either of these two present a very big threat because Joshi Wrestling is what gave WWE Asuka, the former Kana, Kairi Sane, Lucha Underground Kairi Hojo, and Io Shirai.
Oh gosh, I do remember that.
So
that was beautiful. I remember seeing that elbow hit on Pentagon Dark, and it was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Anyway, nostalgic moment there. I apologize. Fretz, who have you got for this?
I'm going to have to apologize to my Joshi fans. I'm not familiar with either of these ladies, so I'm just going to throw a name in the hat and say Riho.
All right. I think I'm going to go with Shida on this one. I'm going to play the safe bet on this one just because.
I mean, in all honesty, you can't go wrong with either of them. Like, I'm so impressed with how the Joshis are being portrayed in AEW so far. Mind you, no weekly TV show yet, just on Double or Nothing, Fyter Fest, Fight for the Fallen, and now All Out. Compared to how WWE has treated their Japanese talent. Like, it's unfortunate, but, like, AEW showcasing their talent in the ring, they don't need to have a microphone. They don't need to. They can literally show their talent. So literally, I'm most excited for this match, and that was even before they announced the AEW Women's Championship stipulation.
They just made it even better. That's the thing. Next up we have here Darby Allin taking on Joey Janela and Jimmy Havoc in a Cracker Barrel clash. Literally all I'm thinking to myself is, okay, major no DQ matchup. Joey Janela, who almost got killed last year by the main event, one half of the main event. God dang. So for this one, oh my gosh, another hard matchup to choose from, but I'm going with Joey Janela. I think that it's finally time for him to get a victory on one of these big events. So I'm going with the Joey, the guy who's going to be rocking the after party, guarantee it.
You're going with the baby kangaroo?
Yes, I'm going with the baby kangaroo. Yes, baby kangaroo, Joey Janela. Yes. That's who we got.
Cracker Barrel, man. I want to go there and get some fried chicken. That was the best fried chicken I've ever friggin' had.
Yo, their meals are amazing.
It was in, of all places, a small town called Cuba, Missouri.
Cuba?
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
Cuba, Missouri.
My buddy and I drove from Sauble Beach to the West Coast, I'm just like, I'm in Cuba, bitches. It's like, location, Cuba, Missouri. Nice one, Fretz. Oh man, this is such a hard one to pick because these three are insane. Oh, Jimmy Havoc. Jimmy F and Havoc.
I'm very torn in this match. Joey Janela, he was the first of the three to get signed to AEW. Mm-hmm. He had the match with Hangman at this time last year, which was phenomenal. And then we saw the return of somebody with penises. It's Jimmy Havoc is literally one of my favorites. I'm Nate can attest for this. I'm wearing a Jimmy Havoc shirt right now.
He is.
But the thing is, you had Darby Allin go to a draw with Cody Rhodes.
Ooh.
Now, I'm comparing this to how in WWE, when you have a match with a McMahon, win or lose, it means that they have stock in you. I feel in this case, going to a time limit draw with one of the executive vice presidents of AEW, I think Darby Allin's going to win. I want it to be Jimmy Havoc, but I think it's going to be Darby Allin. But we're going to see reckless abandon in this match, and I really hope a Cracker Barrel is involved.
Oh, it's going to be guaranteed.
And a coffin drop on the apron.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the fact that up next we have Cody taking on Shawn Spears with Tully Blanchard in his corner. This is going to be very interesting because, of course, a lot of people know Shawn Spears, the former Ty Dillinger. We also kind of mentioned the fact that these two were former tag team partners in the independent scene. Well, WWE independent scenes. So this is going to be one of those things where it's going to be a match that's going to be full circle. The question really is Shawn Spears going to get a big victory here, or is Cody Rhodes going to continue his seemingly undefeated streak when it comes to these matches here? One-on-one, he's not been beat.
He's been taken to the limit, but he hasn't been beat.
Yep. So for this one, I'm gonna go with an upset. I'm gonna say Shawn Spears picks up the victory here.
Who's going to be accompanying Cody to the match? Because this is a wrinkle on their storyline. Because we see that Tully Blanchard is going to be coming out with Shawn Spears. But before I say who's gonna win this match, like who's going to be Spears' manager? And I only have one name, and it might ruffle a few feathers because this man was also a horseman and a WWE Tag Team Champion with Tully Blanchard, AA Arn Anderson.
It's kind of funny you mention that because Nate kind of motioned that to me, and I agree. I do think we're going to get a horseman appearance. I don't know which one yet.
That is the question. But
before I talk, you need something to give your pick.
Spears.
Go with Spears.
I'm going with Spears, man.
I'm going to go with Spears too, and the reason is, like, since that unprotected chair shot, which literally rocked the whole wrestling world.
Okay.
Spears has been built up with all of these vignettes, been given Tully effing Blanchard as a second.
The man who gave us Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, think of who's seconded Cody in the past. You've had DDP second him. Like, so we have a lot of history going into this match. I could even potentially see a Ric Flair type of a thing.
Anytime that Cody comes out, it always does feel like it's like a big fight feel. It feels like you're going to like a UFC fight or something like that, where it really feels like this is a match you need to watch.
And
on the two occasions I've seen it, it has been great. His match with Nick Aldis was great. His match with Dustin was phenomenal.
Oh, I was literally like crying during that match, like when I saw it live. But now Shawn Spears, having been signed after the Double or Nothing, like, you know, appearance in the Battle Royal, then the chair shot and all that, a loss to Cody is exactly what happens WWE. To build someone, once again, building someone up. Shawn Spears, new look, new name, more badassery. This has Shawn Spears written all over it, and I don't think this feud ends.
I don't think so either. But I think we know one feud that's definitely going to end is going to be this next matchup. The Escalera de la Muerte for the AAA World Tag Team titles. The Lucha Brothers taking on the Young Bucks. Second time these guys have faced up in a AEW event. Oh my lord. So basically, for those of you that don't speak Spanish, what this matchup is basically a ladder match of death. Yes. So we're getting a ladder match of death here. I'm looking forward to this matchup. And for my prediction, all I have to say is 2 words. Cero Nieto. Lucha Bros take it.
I'm actually curious about this because outside of United States, the Lucha Brothers compete in AAA.
Yes.
The Bucks did too. Within the 50 states, the continental United States, AEW has exclusive rights on Lucha Brothers.
Damn.
But what's coming up in 2 weeks? AAA at the Garden. I think you're getting the Bucks winning, and I think we might get another match between the two of them at the Hulu Theater. That's me like fantasy booking the shit out of it, but they already had to move the MSG show to Hulu Theater because of ticket sales.
Oh, damn. I don't think we asked you, Fretz, who you got for this match? I think you conflicted a little bit.
Isn't Ray Phoenix injured, or is that just rumor?
He banged up his leg, but he competed the next night, so it was just a stinger.
Okay, so you know what? Here's my two-faced coin. I'm going to literally flip a coin.
Oh my god!
So I got heads is the Bucks, tails. Heads is the Bucks, tails is the Lucha Bros, and I have tails. Lucha Bros. Siete Mero.
Hells yeah! I just want Pentagon Jr. to win. I call him Pentagon Dark. I don't care.
Okay, Pentagon Dark for life.
Yes. So we got one.
What's his other one? Pentagon.
Penta El Cero Miedo.
Or something like that.
Penta El Zero M.
I downloaded that call for Fire Pro, so.
All right, so we got one more tag team matchup, which the winner will receive a first-round bye in the AEW World Tag Team Title Tournament. We have the best friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta. Love these guys taking on the Dark Order,
formerly known as Super Smash Bros.
Yes. Oh my lord!
Nintendo, get your
lawyers. All right, so Fretz, we'll start with you. Who have you got for this matchup? Who gets that first-round bye in the Tag Team Title Tournament?
Dark Order has just been smashing this, pun intended, since they came up. I don't think they're going to be the first champions, but they're getting that by. I mean, they've just been all over it. The way that I've noticed them booked or appearing lately, again, I'm not the indie expert here, but I got to go with Dark Order here, just for the heel heat, to get heat on whoever. Is there a tournament for determine the other contender, or what's the deal going to be there? Or is that not announced yet?
Your guess is as good as mine when it comes to that. Right now, I'm just focused on this tournament and the women's tournament. We're getting the finals of the AEW World Tournament, so we're getting that taken care of later on. We got one more match before we get into that one. I do agree with you. I do see Dark Order picking up the victory here. It does feel like a heel thing to do for this one. So, I'm going with Dark Order. Mr. Dusty Dave.
I'm also going with the Dark Order. Now, this isn't a knock against the best friends, but the wild card for me are the minions. The creepers. I could see something similar to Lights Go Out, Fiend appears, Lights Go Out, and I could see Lights Go Out, Creepers attack, then we get a pin after a really good match. I'm in the process of trying to figure out how the rest are going to be determined, but you guys said it best. They don't need to be the first tag team champions, but remember why they were signed. They were the Young Bucks, one of their biggest rivals in PWG.
Sure.
And I can't wait to meet them. Like, I'm not paying $50 to be a footstool for Evil Uno. But I will say the best friends have the best video ever. Just like that fucking trippy.
Yes. All right. Next matchup we have on here is a matchup that was originally supposed to be featuring Jon Moxley, but unfortunately due to health concerns, he had to pull out from that, understandably so. Godspeed, Jon Moxley. Hopefully you are doing well, and hopefully you get better. It's a matchup now that we are probably going to freak out about because it could be match of the year. We have Pac taking on Kenny freaking Omega. Oh my lord. So you're telling me we got Neville versus the Cleaner. We got the guy who has the red arrow taking on the guy who does the one-winged angel. You have the Iron Man taking on the guy who Gravity forgot. I'm totally on board for this matchup. I'm sorry. As much as I really want to see Moxley versus Omega, we're getting a blessing with Pac and Omega.
We really are. I'm not going to lie. After Pac pulled from Double or Nothing because of, at the time he was the Open the Dream Gate champion, which is top championship in Dragon Gate.
Right.
I understand why he pulled out, but I honestly thought that may have been a goodbye type of a deal.
Oh, okay.
So, but we have Pac now. Now, Kenny's, mind you, they say wins and losses matter here.
Right.
I honestly think Pac's going over. And the reason why is I think they're going to do a large redemption storyline that leads to Omega versus Jericho, whether or not be directly, because we'll get to that match later. But I honestly think Mox was going to go over initially. That promo that Kenny cut was amazing, and I'm just like stoked for the match. Really, like it. Here, flip all the coins and like. Flip all the coins. I didn't mean to hit me with the coins. I'm sorry.
I see silver now. I'm going to have like that eye patch like Nick Fury now. Except my eye patch not because of a Nick Fury. Not because of a kitty scratch, because of a
cat scratch fever.
All right, Mr. Cat Scratch Fever. Who have you got for this matchup?
Oh my goodness, are you making me... First off, Dave, I paid $50 for Sergeant Slaughter to put me in the Cobra Clutch. So,
a Cobra Clutch is different than a footstool.
Hey, sir.
Yeah, and he followed me on Twitter. Shout out to Sarge.
Sarge, baby. He follows me on Twitter too, but that's beside the point.
And this is another one that is just hard to predict. And I'm like, for a second, I'm like, wait, what match is this? We just went off the rails. This is a classic podcast here. Fucking Omega. Oh. No, my coin's right there. I'm not flipping it. But you know what? I'm just going to go with my gut. Pac.
You're going with Pac? I'm gonna be that guy. I'm going with Omega. I think that we're gonna see an undefeated streak with Kenny Omega in Chicago. I'm gonna call that right now. Anytime he comes to Chicago, he doesn't get beat.
You went over Penta and they got attacked by Jericho.
Yeah, I was bummed out about that because I wanted Pentagon to win so much, but that was still a good match, so I don't care.
Was that the Skrull match?
Yeah, the Skrull Okada. Oh, why aren't those two on the card? Damn it!
Wait, that was Skrull Okada, right? I want Marty Skrull in AEW so bad.
We both do. It's a wrestling orgasm just waiting to happen. Speaking of wrestling orgasm, that goes into the freaking main event to determine the first ever AEW World Champion, Adam Hangman Page, taking on the best in the world at whatever he does, fill in the blank, Chris the Goat Jericho. My God. This is a torn deal here because there seems like an obvious choice here, but then you think, fuck. No, there isn't. There's not an easy choice for this. You could be right or wrong for either way. Oh my God! You know what? I'm going for it. Hangman Page wins. Hangman Page becomes the first ever AEW World Champion. We get a new era. Chris Jericho puts over the new guy. Eventually, he'll probably get the title, just not right now. Because I think that if they put the belt on Jericho, they're going to say, "Oh, well, that's because he's the head honcho." I don't think they're going down that route. I think they're going with the new generation. We're going to see that beautiful belt around the waist of the Hangman, who literally murdered somebody last year. That's beside the point. Anyway, Mr. Fretz, who have you got?
Well, this is a bit of a two-way street here. I can see them going with Chris Jericho for name recognition's sake.
Well, that's true.
For like, okay, you're a quote unquote new promotion. You want to get yourself over. You want to be competing on the Wednesday night Wars, brother. By the way, this week's NXT, Keith Lee versus Donna McDay, Jack.
Yo, that Spanish Fly.
Oh, Keith Lee's what? 400 pounds, and he's doing a Spanish Fly. What? Okay, this isn't about NXT. this isn't Who Got Next. I'm sorry, MJ, Phil, and Nick. Although that's not a thing anymore. Shout out to those guys and girl.
Who Got Next for life?
Hell yeah. I can also see them with this whole thing that Nate's talking about with the new era. And you got a new era, you got a new champion, you got Hangman Page, who's been in the business for, well, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 years, I'm not sure. You're going into the Wednesday Night Wars. You're going, you know what? Jericho, name recognition.
Ooh. So
You're starting off hot with a recognized name on a new quote-unquote rival promotion. And by the way, Fourth Wall WrestleCast, no, I don't think this is a work, and I don't think Vince is funding them. That's a fun theory, but I feel it like it's funding. Doc Hoss, come on, bro.
Game Changer Podcast is going to be the greatest podcast ever after this show comes out. I'm calling it right now. We are meeting everybody on Wrestle Addict Radio because we're doing this shit. We're calling it out. We're breaking fourth walls. We're breaking barriers. Oh my
You're
gosh.
coming back, bro. I'm telling this right now. Name recognition. And also by Canadian law, I have to pick my fellow Canuck, Chris Jericho, first champion. God, I need another beer right now.
I'm about to get one myself.
I think I need to name this episode 3 Canucks. I'll go all out.
This hasn't come out on record recently, but my dad was born Canadian and then became an American citizen. So I do have Canadian in my blood.
Oh, cool.
Now,
Fretz just says
I'm a little torn between Jericho and Hangman. But before I get into that pick, I just want to say, if in fact this does become the most popular episode of the Game Changer Podcast on Wrestle Addict Radio at Addict Wrestle, I want to thank you. I want a thank you. Thank me. Thank me. Now that I got my Chris Jericho out of the way, I do think it's going to be Hangman Page. Jericho would be the easy way, being that first undisputed champion, ever changing, but I think him losing to Hangman will send him even deeper into this spiral of his changing character.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter how long Hangman is a champ or who's a knight, but Jericho's always going to be like going deeper into this character transformation, and the best way to do it, from his biggest name signing with AEW to this goth dad to thank me, is him losing to Hangman Page. And mind you, it's not easy to turn down the E, and Hangman did.
It's true.
So I honestly think this has Hangman written all over it. And like I said, just give me the thank you. All
right. So, ladies and gentlemen, those have been our predictions for All Out. We were going to go into the New Japan deal, but unfortunately, we actually have to go because I have a meet and greet with Hangman Page as well as so many other people. Mr. Dusty Dave, he's got a meet and greet with so many other people. So we're going to wrap this up right now. First of all, thank you, Dusty Dave, for your time, and thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been great getting back on the mic.
Dusty, get in on this webcam for a second. We got to do a snapshot.
Yo.
Too sweet.
Too sweet.
And there's the cheap plug for the day.
That is gonna get some views. That's gonna put some, not bucks.
Yo, the dirt sheets are gonna be going crazy.
Is Dusty Dave joining the game?
Is Dusty Dave coming back to Wrestle Addict?
We break. No, for us it's like you're.
We're gonna see as a special guest, but maybe we should save that for like a Twitter thing, so you guys can go to your dealies.
Yes, we'll do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, like we said, gotta thank Dusty Dave for doing that. Check him out on his Twitter as well as a lot of great other social media networks.
You guys can find me at Indie _Dusty Dave, and I have a lot of big news on the way. It's an exciting time. You'll just have to wait and see.
It's going to be awesome. You got to check out Mr. Fretz on his Twitter at LegendaryJF. Be sure to also check out his...
The Legendary JF, Nate.
Yes. Did I not say the? I think I might have missed the part, so I apologize for that.
You did.
Also check me out on Twitter at RealFNGame. Like we said before, check out the boys over at Wrestle Addict Radio. The peeps over there. Be sure to check them out at @addict_wrestle. Be sure to check out the Kings of the Ring podcast, Gifted podcast, Not Your Mama's Soap Opera podcast, Fourth Wall WrestleCast, as well as us here at the Game Changer podcast. We got to plug them, and we got to also plug the great, crazy, podcasts that were a part of this for here on the Game Changer podcast. Definitely can check us out on Spreaker.com, but as well as on Spotify, iHeartRadio. So many other places, you guys. I can't just list them all. One of these days I'll put the list of it, but it's just too crazy right now, and we're still trying to do it. Trying to get out of here so we can do our meet and greets. And also, I got bad news. In the words of the people that went to the Green Bay show, I gotta take a piss. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here at the Game Changer podcast. Well, Mr. Fretz and Dusty Dave, I've been NateFNGreat. Nate, Mr. Bad News FNGreat. And we'll tune in and see you guys for the next podcast episode. Thank you. Bye-bye. Boom.